Hi there, and welcome to MasterControl's latest hosted webinar, The Document Management Crisis, How AI is Solving Life Sciences' Biggest Quality Challenge. Super excited to dig into this topic, and we are happy to have you here. Let's dive right in. My name is Nicole Sherman. I am a Senior Product Marketing Manager here with MasterControl, helping our team to deliver powerful, secure, and compliant AI and advanced analytics to our customers.
And I'm Jessica Madsen. I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Master Control for our Quality Excellence Solution. And I am here to help represent everything about quality.
Great, thanks, Jess. So let's look at a quick agenda for where we will spend our time throughout this webinar. We're going to go through a day in your life, kind of that current document management burden that I think will resonate with a lot of folks on this call, the downstream impact of poor document management, and then kind of shift into innovations, innovating your processes, and taking a look at MasterControl in action. So diving into our document management product offering. We've got a great demo to share, and then there will be time for a Q&A at the end. There is a chat fun. Oh, I had to. Okay, I have to redo that. What is it? We have them put questions in the chat function or the Q&A. Anyone?
Is
It's called
questions
chat.
in
Well, oh, shoot.
I thought the chat was where we tell them not to put
that's
questions.
correct.
Okay.
So it's
Yep.
called Q&A, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I was like, I thought so, and then I got hung up. Okay, I'm just gonna start over at the beginning of the slide.
Okay.
Great, so here's a look at our agenda. We will start with a day in the life. This will probably hit home for a lot of you here, just looking at the burden that can be document management. And then the downstream impact of some of those bad side effects of poor document management. And then we'll shift gears into kind of solutions, innovating your processes for next-gen document management, and we'll take a look at our MasterControl solution. We've got a great demo to share, as well as kind of talk about how our document management product has evolved to meet needs. We will have a Q&A at the end of this webinar. Feel free to put questions throughout the webinar as something might come to mind in the Q&A, and then we will get to as many as we can at the end. If you have any technical issues, feel free to put a note in the chat and we will work to get that fixed for you. So I am going to jump right into a day in the life. And I'm going to ask you to come on a journey with me that I think will resonate for many of you in attendance today. So we are going to take a walk in Maria's shoes. Maria is fictional, but think of her as a QA supervisor at a mid-sized biotech company based in Texas that has several global sites in Europe and Asia and Latin America. So here we go. Maria, wakes up before she even leaves home or even gets out of bed. She's scrolling through her inbox and sees, from her Europe and Asia colleagues from the night before, SOP revision requests, a CAPA file missing a signature, a flag deviation report, new deviations that happened at a sister site in Berlin overnight, and a reminder from regulatory affairs about aligning to a new EMA annex. Happily, it's not all bad news. There are notifications of training completions on an SOP that was approved yesterday. So, deep breath, right? Each of these messages represents several documents that need to be meticulously tracked, version controlled, approved, and audit ready. And a company, that mid-sized company that could have 1,200 plus SOPs, these updates often become Maria's full-time job, even though, there's many more aspects of her job description. So next, it's 9 a.m. She's commuted into the office. In the morning production meeting, a supervisor reports that yesterday's batch record couldn't be closed because of missing fields. So this isn't unusual. We know that document-related issues consistently rank among the top for FDA 483 observations, and that includes incomplete or inaccurate batch records. Maria knows that each one of these gaps will have to be investigated, retraced, and corrected, likely delaying their product release by weeks. And add this to her plate along with so many other moving pieces at the moment. Moving on with her morning, Maria's next task is to verify training records above and beyond those completions that she had in her inbox this morning. So she knows an auditor is due next month and knows that training gaps are, again, another common 483 finding, so wants to get ahead of that. So she's got on her plate to cross-check that every operator has signed off on the latest SOP revisions. That's huge. Missing acknowledgments or late completions are high risk to have that auditor on site. She wants to be flawless. So she's got to be really meticulous. So, again, probably doesn't have enough time, but on her list of things to do this afternoon. So moving around the clock, it's now 1 o'clock after lunch. And when we say lunch, we mean she snacked at her desk while working to get a sign off on a revision. Maria is now moving on to reviewing a change control packet to an updated cleaning procedure. That's got to go through QC, regulatory, and site leads across those multiple geographies at those different sites. So beyond those approvals themselves, she's got to ensure that the outdated versions are fully retired, translations are consistent, and that all global employees are now trained on the same content. So right now, this is super manual, takes so many hours to look through and verify, and also translations have become really expensive. Her company outsources translations. They got to do them for multiple languages. It's very technical content. So that's just again another burden of that global document management world. So continuing on in the afternoon, it's never ending. So a CAPA file on Maria's desk raises another issue. There was an investigation closed last month, but has been flagged as incomplete. The root cause analysis lacked sufficient evidence, and the attached validation protocol for equipment wasn't fully documented. This kind of oversight ends up being a red flag for regulators. The inadequate root cause analysis or incomplete validation protocols, recurring themes for both FDA and EMA citations. So Maria's got to reopen that investigation, update documentation, and then it's that snowball effect, right, of updating the translations, retraining employees on updating documentation, looking at version control, and justifying that delay to leadership. What Maria wishes she had was a dashboard where she could better monitor quality events and be more proactive in identifying these kinds of issues instead of scrambling and reactive, being reactive a little bit too late. Late in the day, a deviation report arrives from a Latin American site. Operators were still using an outdated batch record template, so the English version had been retired, but the translated form hadn't been updated in times. So, so easy to happen. Translations like these are a moving piece that can so quickly create non-compliance if they're not controlled. So we've made it, not just almost a 12-hour workday for Maria. So as she logs off, we all realize like her day wasn't spent on proactive quality initiatives or continuous improvement like we think it should be. It was consumed by document management firefighting, from missing training records and complete investigations. It's just a constant race against regulatory risk. Okay, so taking a deep breath. How many of you can relate to Maria? Raise up hands. I know these examples are a bit extreme, right? We took some writing liberties, but it's not totally unrealistic for what a day could look like for document management for folks in quality assurance. So we don't go through this to stress you out, but rather to empathize with the volume and the complexity and the meticulous work that's needed for effective document management and just how easy it is for things to fall through the cracks, especially with manual global processes. Um, so thank you for taking a moment to spend a day in Maria's shoes, and we're going to transition to what some of those issues can ultimately mean.
So I agree that was a long day for Maria, but Maria's organization isn't unique. Document management is often the catalyst for costly issues that can range from wasted time, which nobody wants in the first place, to actual serious regulatory consequences. And document errors in data entry and confusing version control and missed regulatory compliance details that we saw in Maria's day. Um, and more things can just create a domino effect that, number one, wastes time and keeps you from doing strategic work. But number two, can also result in poor outcomes for life science companies. So, across the globe, the reasons for regulatory citations or reported defects can often be traced back to errors or oversights in maintaining control over documentation. These top five that we have listed here stem from common upstream weakness, which is poor document management practices. So many of them tie back to how meticulous you really need to be in your documentation. And now that the FDA has signaled that it plans to review even more documentation with the assistance of AI, these type of findings and citations are likely to increase because they'll be able to review even more than they could before. So failures in documenting procedures properly, in version control, in approval workflows, in document distribution, in traceability, and being able to link everything to training really can undermine regulatory compliance and create repeat findings if you don't have everything all buttoned up. In 2024, the European Medicines Agency received 395 suspected quality defect notifications, and that is the highest number recorded in recent years, as you can see there in our graph. They logged, sorry, I'm going to start that one over. In 2024, the European Medicines Agency received 395 suspected quality defect notifications, and that's the highest number recorded in recent years, as you can see on the graph that we're showing here. 221 of those were confirmed and led to batch recalls, with nine with labeling packaging issues were among the top causes. Even one mismanaged label change can force a multi-country recall that requires pharmacies to pull stock and hospitals and patients to scramble. And that is all because without the proper document management, even a typo can become a shortage for important medication. Additionally, on top of that, 8 applications were withdrawn, and this was mostly because the data in the application was insufficient to support approval. In many cases, the teams had the analysis, but the latest output of that analysis had poor version control, and there were inconsistencies that piled up, and sponsors pulled the applications. So these have real downstream effects to health and quality of patients. Reasons for these spikes can often be traced back to document errors, and I'm going to give some examples. So first of all, number one that you can see here, manufacturing laboratory control issues, and these include out of specification results that are obtained during quality control testing. So this can be caused by insufficient staff training on relevant SOPs or by outdated testing methods. Next, we have product contamination and sterility issues. These can include chemical or microbial or physical contamination of the actual product. And a potential cause may be environmental monitoring plans that were recently updated, but may not have been properly translated or distributed to global sites. Next, we'll talk about product label issues. These can include issues related to the labeling of the medicinal products, and may include like a missing or incorrect batch number. And as discussed in my last slide, an approval workflow failure can lead to labels that are printed incorrectly or without proper review and final sign-off, and that isn't caught because of lack of adhering to documentation. Next, we'll talk about product packaging issues that are relating to physical issues, like a mix-up or a damaged container. And this really can trace back to lack of version control again, that can lead to two conflicting procedures that are in circulation and that can lead to mixed up containers or incorrect approvals of outdated packaging. Finally, we'll talk about product physical issues, and these relate to incorrect product physical properties. So, for example, a documentation gap for a deviation might mean that a quality deviation was documented but never linked to a CAPA record, and that product should have been stopped, but it went through anyway. So we can see here that that really has an impact of poor document management leads to a lot of things stemming from organizational damage all the way to operational inefficiencies. If you have something like a recall, you're going to see things like a loss of trust from both patients and physicians. You're going to have monetary loss, not just from that loss of inventory, but also from the time to correct the problem, reputational damage, and then delays to the end user. And then on the other side of that coin, everybody here is working for likely for a business that needs to keep track of their operational efficiencies and try and do more with less all of the time. So this can cause things for procedures that need to be rewritten, translated, retraining, additional QA review, and just additional overhead of searching for documents if you don't have that documentation efficiency in place. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is how you can innovate your processes for next generation document management. And we're going to take a look at what the future of document management could look like. So first, we're going to talk about dynamic document discovery. So I'm sure that you've, much like Maria, you've all experienced where you're wasting time trying to find the right documentation. We have seen that employees can spend over 9 hours a week searching for documents or information contained within those documents. And that always comes with a risk if you're searching and you're all over the place of looking at an outdated version. So a proper document management system can really help. For years, systems have helped with auto archiving so that you have one source of truth and quickly finding documents through features like favoriting. But now customers are really moving into the AI world where AI is going to start being able to help with both AI-powered search functionality and just becoming a much more streamlined version of finding that one source of truth. So next we're going to build on that and talk about AI-assisted document management. There's an overall industry push towards AI now, including how the FDA has signaled AI use for reviewing documentation quickly, like I mentioned earlier, and the EU looking at how it can actually regulate AI and AI usage of companies who are using it as part of their quality management. Companies can use AI to understand regulations, ensure competency, and increase speed in document management through things like summarization, translation, and more efficient change control. AI can be used to both create content, as long as there is human review, we want to be really specific about that, and to also to auto-populate the metadata from a document, such as document type, titles, custom fields, etc. Eventually, you should really be able to feed related content into a document management tool, into a document generator, in order to create your document. So think of it this way. What if you could give AI your portfolio of data and a document from your R&D process development, and it was able to generate a procedure based on all of the methods and parameters from your original process? And that's the type of world that we really want to prepare people for and look into. And the baseline of that is really making sure that you understand and have all of your document management buttoned up so that you can move into that AI world. And speaking of having all of your data buttoned up, finally, we're going to talk about that connected document data and specifically how it relates to closed loop automation and data sharing. It is vital that your processes are connected. It impacts everything from having an audit trail that goes above and beyond requirements and ensuring proper training through automation from a newly approved document, to increasing overall efficiency in task completion by having tasks brought up for you and having data accuracy for reporting and tracking that improvement over time. All of this connected data should move beyond quality to manufacturing and post-market and other connected elements of your business. And similar to what I referenced in AI-assisted document creation, ideally you should be able to pull from documents for identification of medical product data elements and for chemistry, manufacturing, and controls documentation so that you're really connecting all of those processes together and using the same underlying data and underlying documentation for everything that you're using.
Great, thanks, Jess. Yeah, there's been a lot of exciting advancements and innovation for document management. So it's a good segue to look at MasterControl's intelligent document management action. Like I said, we've got a demo, but before we get to that, I do just want to spend a couple minutes on our system. So document management is how MasterControl got our start over 3 decades ago. It's at the core of our QMS and really at the foundation of our mission to help customers use technology to deliver higher quality to patients faster. So it continues to be really central to what we deliver to customers. So as technology has evolved, we have too. Our document management, along with training and quality event management as part of our complete QMS, have really matured to keep up with the market. Things like automated workflows, being really data driven with data insights for visibility into workflow status, trends, issue prevention, and more, as Jess spoke to with kind of that connected data piece for document management. And most recently, and very exciting, compliant and secure AI embedded into document management to safely and securely help reduce manual tasks, save time, save cost, and excited to show those a bit later. So a couple of things to highlight, a few aspects of our system that will kind of demonstrate that modern automation built into doc management from MasterControl. And this is just a highlight reel. We'll see more in our demo, but things like automated version control, virtual collaboration with full traceability, audit readiness for really easily being able to retrieve documents, workflow connections in the moment when auditors request them, thinking of Maria and, getting ready for that auditor. Our system makes it so easy, with that auditor looking over your shoulder to pull up documents and make that a really seamless process. And then integrated training. So I mentioned as part of our QMS is really robust training management. Document management is integrated with that module to automatically send training tasks when, for example, an SOP is updated. So no need to worry about someone outdated on their training. We've got that covered. So again, just a quick taste, and we'll see more in our demo. Another thing I wanted to highlight in support of that idea of data-driven processes as part of a modern next-gen document management system is business intelligence. So MasterControl Insights is our native business intelligence tool embedded within document management that easily helps visualize your document data. So status on in-process reviews, workflows, so much more. It's interactive, it's visual, it's dynamic. You're able to easily track KPIs and trends, scheduled reporting. Again, help you stay on top of status or proactively be monitoring to, again, kind of avoid those reactive issues like we heard Maria, kind of reacting to versus being able to kind of see those and get ahead of any kind of risk. And then I did want to touch on AI. So we are a leader in AI compliance. Proud to say that MasterControl has recently achieved ISO 42001 certification. And that's a really big deal for us to be able to confidently say that we have been certified as delivering secure, compliant, and really powerful AI tools built on our validated platform architecture that was created for regulated industries. I know there's a lot of excitement about AI and just as much kind of anxiety or worry about using it in a regulated space. And our main goal is to reduce that anxiety and allow you to be able to adopt AI and see some real process improvement. So here's just a quick look at our current AI solutions. They're practical AI features that, we've heard great feedback on increasing efficiency and performance and hopefully making your life easier, right? Making time for more of that continuous improvement or more proactive quality stance versus reactive. Currently, MasterControl has 5 AI tools available for our document management and quality users to take advantage of. We've got an exam generator, so being able to automatically create training exams from your latest document versions, document translator, and a document summarizer that make it faster to share and digest critical content, a training slippage predictor, which spots overdue or at-risk training before it becomes a compliance issue, and a regulatory chat feature that delivers quick source-linked answers from your own system content. So this is great tools available to use in your environments today. And then we've got a really exciting roadmap coming up with just more features, again, to more quickly identify root cause, optimize processes, be a bit more proactive with compliance monitoring, and so much more. We've got a great team here really dedicated to, again, that secure AI development that's really going to help modernize your document management process. And with that, we will jump right into our demo portion of this webinar where you can see MasterControl's document management in action. So let's take a look.
Okay, now we're going
Actually,
to,
let me pause for a second because I don't.
yeah,
I'm like, what version am I sharing? Because I don't see the all those Q&As. Why? That's weird.
I'm in the final, I see them.
I know is in my let me try and share again. I wasn't seeing them in the speaker notes. Give me one second. Sorry, like this, trying to use this mouse in here. Okay. There we go. Okay, how's that look?
That's great
Great.
to
Okay.
me.
That's all that matters. All right, let's crank out these Q&As and wrap it up.
Okay. Okay, and now we are going to take some questions from the audience. I will go ahead. We've selected a few here that I think would be really great to address. I'm going to go ahead and look at the first one. I'm interested in the document translation feature. How does MasterControl ensure that translated SOPs maintain regulatory compliance across the different regions when there are varying requirements? So our doc translator feature dramatically accelerates the translation process, but you're right to be focused on compliance, especially across different regions. You can create region-specific variants while maintaining links. And also with the regulatory chat feature that Nicole mentioned, you can query and converse with the chat to understand the different regulatory requirements and make sure that you are translating from the correct different regions and that it translates the correct requirements. But I really want to focus here on the importance of human review. That is something that we at Master Control believe very strongly in. While the AI may accelerate the process, we really expect that quality professionals will maintain that oversight and will want to maintain that oversight to verify accuracy. And that really ties closely to this regional compliance. You want to make sure that, while you're doing your research with the regulatory chat and the different regulatory compliance, it's really up to you to make sure that those documents say the right thing even before they are translated, so that everybody's working from correct documentation. Next, our organization wants to adopt AI, but is concerned about data security and compliance. How does Master Control ensure that AI applications maintain data integrity and meet regulatory requirements, specifically in GXP environments? Nicole, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. And something we hear a lot, right, within the life sciences, just that concern about security and compliance. So I mentioned that the ISO certification, ISO 42001. So I do just want to highlight it, like, that again, just as a critical piece of what the rigor Master Control has gone through to deliver security and compliance. But to get into a bit more detail around our development, like I said, we've got a really great team here at Master Control, building our AI architecture and features that you saw. We implement comprehensive security controls throughout our AI development lifecycle, employing advanced threat modeling, continuous monitoring systems, rigorous access controls to safeguard our infrastructure against vulnerabilities, really to ensure our clients can trust that security foundation that everything, all the customer-facing tools are built upon. Another piece I'd like to point out is that customer inputs remain private. They're not shared with others. They're never used to train our production models. Data is securely processed within your own unique environment, and customers retain full control over their data. So we do really make sure that your data remains within your unique environment with the way that we've architected our AI tools.
Thanks, Nicole. I think that was a great explanation, and I really think that just underlining how important that is to us at Master Control, we very strategically are making those decisions because of how much we believe in the privacy and compliance.
Absolutely.
Okay, next question. We're interested in implementing a tool like Exam Generator for improving training. Can you explain how the system ensures the questions it generates are accurately test comprehension of those critical procedural requirements rather than just surface level?
Yeah, I'll jump in on that one. I love that question. So yeah, Exam Generator can be a real game changer for folks, especially if I know, I'm sure we're all guilty of it, kind of defaulting to a read and understood instead of really making sure we're testing for comprehension. Um, so to directly kind of answer that question, this really relates to what Jess mentioned, and I think we've talked about a few times here, is that human in the loop approach to RAI. So how a master controls exam generator works is, you load your most recent SOP, and that human in the loop is really on display with your ability to go through that SOP and actually select that critical content you want to make sure is tested for comprehension. So the exam generator will then generate as many questions as you've indicated on that critical content that has been selected. You can then review, edit, or regenerate those questions and answers that have been created for each section for the most effective exam. And one thing I will say with that is we built it that way based on customer feedback. You know, we heard that our users want that human in the loop to be able to specifically select those critical procedural sections of your SOP. So our tools is designed to do exactly that.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, we're going to talk about our last question. We're going to take our last question here. Can you share specific ROI metrics from other life science organizations that have implemented your document management? I am building a business case for leadership. I'm happy to take that one, absolutely. Results will vary across organizations and depending on your level of maturity. But we do have some compelling anecdotes and stories from our customer base. We hear a lot from customers that they're really able to quickly produce correct documentation consistently whenever they're asked by auditors. So a lot of that comes into like an auditor is wanting to come and find your source of truth documents. With MasterControl, it makes it really easy to find and deliver that. Many have mentioned that their approval processes have become much more streamlined and efficient. What used to take them weeks now, or even months, in many cases, they now have documents approved in less than 24 hours. I remember that stat. I also remember that we have a customer that says they have saved nearly 5,000 hours a year on document management. And we have another customer that previously, before MasterControl, they were able to submit one 510K a year, and now they're up to submitting about five 510Ks a year because they've been able to really streamline and make their document management process more efficient. So yes, we do have some great results. We're really happy with those. We love our customers, and we would love to have you talk to one of our sales team if you're interested in having us help you build that business case to leadership.
Great. Well, that takes us to the end here. Thank you for joining, going through Maria's, day in a life pain points. I encourage you to scan this QR code here, just to access an additional piece that MasterControl has put together, 6 QMS must-haves for A-wide forward life science organizations. Just some more reading material from our point of view, regarding just that importance of not just intelligent document management, but training, quality event management as well. So thank you again for joining Jess and I, and have a great rest of the day.